show is brought to you by the Good Health Stores in Hanover and Quincy. Call Mark at 781-837-4900 with your health and nutrition questions. Now, here's Mark.
Good evening and welcome. A happy Sunday evening to everybody out there in the listening audience. And I want to say we had a wonderful day yesterday at our seminar. Thank you so much for all you that did show up. We had a great crowd there. And a spectacular day, really terrific day, a great healing day. We all enjoyed a great deal of camaraderie and spiritual exchange. It was a pretty special day. So thanks to everybody out there, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. And Catherine Foley, welcome.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
How's everything in your world?
Wonderful. I had a busy travel week last week, so I spent
You did, yes.
with the dog. And
How was your travel week?
very good. I was in a couple different states in the Northeast region, and travel all went well. I had some serendipitous moments where I arrived at flights just on time, but an hour late.
Oh, my goodness, I sure do know what you mean. That's funny.
So it all worked out really well.
That's great. And, I know that there's an awful lot of folks that are up in arms about, Claire, of course, the rock and roll angel that works with Bill Clark, of course, sent me an email that was forwarded to her from a friend regarding, House, I should say Senate, 427, I think it is?
Right,
yeah, that is just so incredible. I think we should probably mention that just a wee bit anyway. I don't know where it is right now, but as of 10 days ago, it was kind of like at the 11th hour.
Right.
And, of course, what I'm speaking about, for those of you who are not familiar with it, there's, of course, a bill sponsored by Monsanto. What a surprise. And they're trying to basically enforce new agency laws, new agency rules that would suggest that organic farms can no longer use their heirloom seeds, their organic food seeds.
Right.
But what they would have to do is they would have to ascribe to using the Monsanto genetically modified seeds. In essence, if the bill does go through in the House and the Senate, we're all stuck with no more organic food.
Right, and these seeds are genetically modified also not to reproduce, so the farmers get locked into having to purchase from them every single year.
Incredible story.
It's just a capitalism.
Well, and of course, everybody certainly in our listening audience and so many millions of people around the country know nothing about it.
And especially in New England, we have a lot of local
We sure do. But it's really disturbing the way the politic game is played.
Mm-hmm.
This was, of course, legislation that was filed at the 11th hour. No publicity whatsoever.
Right.
The media has said virtually nothing. It's been mum.
Yeah.
And those of us, of course, who would like to mobilize against this kind of legislation to protect our rights as far as availability of organic produce and organic farms and organic procedures, and would like to basically make our desires known in that area, of course, can't do a thing about it because we haven't been informed.
Yeah, and it's almost, they introduce bills and we find out about them when there's only like 15 days left on the comment period. But there are websites that people can go to. Actually, this week was also Lobby Day for the Natural Products Association in Washington, D.C., and they're currently right now fighting a Senate bill that has not been introduced, but it's being floated around out there to alter the DSHEA regulations.
Right.
And, there's talk of the FDA, branching off food and agriculture and making a decision what to do with dietary supplements. And there is some concern that they're going to try to push dietary supplements into the pharmaceutical umbrella of regulation.
Incredible. Well, it certainly isn't a surprise. I mean, over the 27 years that I've been doing what I do, I've certainly been engaged in battle a number of different occasions with regards to petitioning and working with some of the senators and congresspersons in this part of the world. But, I'm telling you, they keep on coming wave after wave.
And it's really interesting with all of the financial troubles that our country is having.
They can't find anything better to do than
That's what I'm saying.
Pull the plug on organic farms.
So there's a lot more important
I bet you I could find a few things for them to do.
Yeah. And I have to say,
I'd like to.
Yeah, I have to say, natural products and, green products and healthy living and healthy lifestyle, we are having the best economy we have ever had. I mean, in February...
Say that one more time. I want everybody out there, listen in very, very closely to what Catherine is going to say. One more time.
The healthy living and healthy lifestyle industry is having the best economy we have ever had in the history of this industry.
Vitamin sales are up.
Yeah, February was our best month ever with the company.
And even in our offices, the practitioners in our offices have never been busier.
Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing.
People need healing. They need to engage in self-empowerment. People who are learning and growing and evolving and expanding the potentials in their own lives really need to have outlets, really need to have access.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's an awful lot of people who want to pull the plug on the people's power.
Yeah, and, absolutely. I mean, what is first? The organic farms, and, next is, your outlot for planting heirloom tomatoes on your own property.
Which is that's pretty far out. I mean, that really is
it far
incredible.
out? Let's not forget that drinking unpasteurized milk is a federal crime.
Yeah, really. All right, you're going to jail. You're drinking unpasteurized milk.
Yeah, can you imagine being in the federal pen? You're like, what are you in for?
What'd you do?
Drinking goat's milk.
Drinking goat's milk that didn't have pasteurization.
It's like, we would like to say that these things sound far-fetched, but, there's the Health Freedom Organization. That's a nonprofit organization that just goes out there and tries to, fight for farmers that are thrown in jail for selling unpasteurized milk.
It's incredible. It is absolutely incredible. There's a note of humor with comedy with tragedy, I guess I'd say.
It's hilarious.
It's absolutely insanity.
So it's just, we have to really watch, and we have to be, our own best advocates. And, a lot of times people just tend to think that the powers that be are out there to make the best decisions for us, but we are the only ones that can do that.
So where can people go? They certainly can go to their rep.
They can go to their state rep. They can go to their state senators, and all of that information can be found, on your local government website, like mass.gov. You can find out who your senators are for your community. And then also the two industry websites are NPA.com, and NPA is Natural Products Association.
Right.
And then for the Organic Trade Association, it's OTA.org.
I remember back when the battle was engaged for Deschet, 1994. I was pretty actively involved in doing a lot of petitioning and doing some telephone work with reps, etc. And it's amazing. I remember reading at that time, and in the course of 1 week during that experience, 1 week that they tried to take away our liberties for vitamins and minerals, that Washington was flogged with more mail than it received during the entire Vietnam War in 1 week. Did America make it clear that it wants its independence maintained as far as its freedom to purchase vitamins and minerals and to take care of itself? Thank you, butt out, Mr. Government.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it did.
Yeah. And that's why, for Jarrow, being, a bulldog for Deschet is one of his most important things.
Jarrow is a bulldog anyway. He's amazing.
He really is. It's just, because he knows how he...
You folks have no idea how fortunate you are to have Jarrow Rogovan backing you up, covering your back. I mean, he is just incredible.
He does a lot for people.
Absolutely.
On his personal time.
And so do you, by the way.
Personal dollar.
You're down on those steps in Washington more often than you'd probably care to remember as well.
Yeah, I know.
So, soldiers you are, and we're appreciative of it. Thank you so much. All right, well, we do have a guest coming on in just a little bit. We're going to take a short little break, and we're going to come back with Jordan Rubin, who is a New York Times best-selling author. Stay tuned.
This is Catherine from Jarrow Formulas. We're happy to have continued our relationship with Mark Nicola in the Health and Healing Show, and we're happy to announce a new product from Jarrow Formulas called Jarrow Cell. We all know that as the body ages, it heals less rapidly and becomes frailer. Often the body is unable to process enough nutrients to repair weakening cartilage and protein fibers. A very important element in building and repairing your body is silicone. But unfortunately, as we grow, you may have difficulty absorbing adequate silicone from your diet. But now, thanks to a product called Jarosil, you can be sure to get your share. Jarosil can give you the silicone you need to support your bone health, bone mineral density, and in addition, Jarosil strengthens and beautifies your hair, skin, and nails. Jarosil is available now in a synergistic liquid formula that also includes boron and zinc. Ask for Jarosil at your local health food stores. Or for more information, you can go to the Jaro website, which is www.jaro.com.
Right in our area, we are fortunate to have one of the top martial arts schools in the country, Personal Best Karate. Personal Best has been recognized for their community involvement, professional staff development, character building programs, and exciting educational curriculum. Personal Best stands at the top of their industry. 5 locations offering personalized professional instruction. Not sure if karate is right for you? At no obligation, the staff at Personal Best will guide you in a private introductory program to see if karate is indeed the right fit to help you achieve your goals and meet your needs. What does karate at Personal Best teach you? Character building, success habits, helps you get in shape, relieve stress, self-control, setting goals, and of course, self-defense. Personal Best's goal is to create successful, contributing members of society through the practice of the martial arts at Personal Best. Mr. Chris Rappold is, of course, the founder of Personal Best Karate. He tells me his greatest joy of all is to see the personal transformation in each and every student. Bring out your best with Personal Best Karate. Telephone number 508-285-5425. That's 508-285-5425. Locations in Norton, Foxborough, Southeaston, Franklin, and Taunton. That's Personal Best Karate. Alrighty. We have a gentleman coming on in just a moment or two. Jordan Rubin is a New York Times bestselling author, host of an international health and wellness television program, founder of Garden of Life Health and Wellness Company, with a mission to empower extraordinary health. At the age of 19, Jordan was suffering from over 18 illnesses. And when conventional and alternative medicine failed, he was able to overcome his health challenges by using health principles that he gleaned from the Bible, history, and science. Jordan has authored 19 books on health and wellness, including The Maker's Diet, The Perfect Weight America. Jordan has earned a doctorate in naturopathic medicine, nutrition, and natural therapies. Jordan is on a mission to transform the health of America one life at a time. Jordan Rubin, welcome. Are you there, Jordan?
Yes, I am.
Welcome.
It's good to be here. And from your earlier segment, I'm a little nervous now. I just had some raw goat's milk a couple of hours ago. But nobody's going to know other than that you did it. Just the three of us will keep that as our little secret.
If you hear a knock on the door, please let us know in advance.
Yeah, and I was also looking for some good organic farms for sale, and there's lots of them. So scary stuff. But, you know, as most of us who are in this great industry realize, we either us or our parents or somebody, it seems, brought us into this industry with an answer for our health challenges. And I was deathly ill myself 13 years ago, and I owe really my life to the principles that I learned from my father, who was a naturopathic physician and chiropractor in the 70s. And it's, you know, freedom in this particular day and age allows us to make choices that can save lives, and I've seen it happen. So it's good to be here and talking to this community.
Great to have you here, and say hello to Catherine Foley.
Hi, Jordan.
Hi, Catherine.
How are you? I'm good friends with your brokerage firm, Karen, from Top Line Marketing up here.
Fantastic.
She's one of my favorites.
Great.
Well, tell us, let us know a little bit about your story, your health story, etc. It's a fascinating story, and I'm sure everybody would like to hear a little bit about it.
Sure. Well, I grew up as a kind of a health nut outcast. You know, in the 70s, the only things they had at health food stores were brewer's yeast, kelp, and a little bit of wheat germ, and maybe some soy. So, you know, growing up in the industry, things were very different, especially in the late 70s, early 80s. And I kind of strayed from my healthy roots as a teenager, as most do. And for whatever reason, when I was 19, I developed serious digestive issues that were later diagnosed as Crohn's colitis. I had not only the inflammatory bowel disease, but I had wasted away to the point where I am 6'1", and I went down to 111 pounds at my lowest. And so for 2 years, I went the conventional medical route, not because I wanted to, but I was in an emergency situation, and when that didn't work, of course, I went to 70 health experts, tried every single natural and alternative thing you could think of in multiple countries, and during this time was in a wheelchair and really was at death's door. And I did survive long enough to find my answer, and my answer in this case was found in principles that date all the way back thousands of years, even to the Bible, and it has to do with our eating, it has to do with our emotions, but really rebuilding my body. And so through the consumption of healthy foods, which involved, interestingly enough, unpasteurized dairy products, which are still legal in California, and involved healthy grass-fed meats and, of course, fruits and vegetables and juices, and ultimately found a probiotic substance that transformed my gut. And 1997, at the end, I was written about in a natural health magazine called The Townsend Letter, and I was told that I may get a few phone calls about the story. Instead, we got thousands, and really launched our company, Garden of Life. And so during the last 12 years, I've been sharing this message nationally, internationally, and really believe that empowering extraordinary health, which is our tagline, it's not necessarily just about taking a product. I think there's some great ones, and we'll talk about some tonight, but we want to teach people how to eat, the difference between organic and even beyond organic food, to understand that many people, despite the best diet in the world, despite the best supplements, can't get well because they haven't forgiven someone that hurt them. So, this last year has been an amazing experience for me. I got well from this health plan, and I've been off medication for now 13 years, and it's been amazing. But I've been able to share on a 6-month tour around America in a 45-foot bus, speaking to thousands of people in hundreds of health food stores, the message of health and hope. And so while we do manufacture dietary supplements and functional foods, my mission is to transform the health of this nation one life at a time. And so it's just been a great journey. And I think now is the perfect time in our society to introduce people to this health message. There's probably people listening to your radio program that they maybe tune in because they like the inspiration, they like the motivation, but they've got their little toe in the water of this natural health thing. And today, in a day where natural health stores are big and beautiful, and organic foods are plentiful, and despite regulations, there are more people interested and more people willing to share. People have hesitated to dive in. And so I want to say to anybody, whether you've got Crohn's disease, cancer, whether you've got rheumatoid arthritis, or a child that's autistic, I've seen thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of lives transformed. I'm sure that both of you have. And my hope is that maybe one thing that you hear from today's program can convince you to get off the bench and into the game.
Great message. Talk to me a little bit about the idea of bringing fish oils, omega-3s, in conjunction with some of the carotenoids. That's a really important part of your equation.
Well, we have had and believed in the consumption of omega-3 fats for years, and there are a couple sources. There's a vegetable source that's called alpha-linolenic acid, which you'll find in flaxseed oil, hemp seed oil, a little bit in pumpkin. And then there's the elongated omega-3s, DHA and EPA, which are available mainly from fatty ocean fish. And these are the ones that have been getting the most attention from media and science. And so this industry's largest category of sales now is omega-3 fats. And so the last thing that people needed was another fish oil, in my opinion. But what I realized when doing research on the origin of omega-3 studies, which happened to be in the early 1900s with the Inuit Eskimo community, and started actually with a movie that was only a video, was no audio, and it was about an Eskimo family, and this particular family, through the most frigid and horrible climates and environments, consumed 90 to 95% animal food, fat, blubber, and meat from the animals they fished, and but yet, despite the fact with virtually no vegetation and all this animal foods, they had little or no heart disease. Physicians and scientists lived with these people for dozens of years, reported no cases of cancer. And this, along with other cultures such as the Japanese and other villages and people that live near oceans, the study of these people pointed to the fact that there's certain fatty acids in fish that can transform health. But when I was doing this research, I realized that most of these meals, whether it's consuming salmon or consuming, a seal, you are getting not only omega-3 fats, but you are getting two ocean-based carotenoids called astaxanthin and fucoxanthin. So Garden of Life, we've just developed a brand-new line of omega-3s. We call it Beyond Omega-3, and the product line is called Oceans 3, and no affiliation with Brad Pitt, George Clooney, and Matt Damon, unfortunately. But we've created a compound that combines the highest quality and purity and potency of fish oil with these two ocean-based carotenoids, astaxanthin and fucoxanthin. And the amazing thing is, these two carotenoids, they're powerful antioxidants. They quench certain free radicals called singlet oxygen species, which researchers believe may be responsible for a lot of our degenerative conditions. One of them, fucoxanthin, helps not only burn fat in the adipose tissue, but prevent the fat from oxidizing or going rancid. The astaxanthin, which is a carotenoid that comes from sea algae or marine algae, actually helps people with endurance, helps people with post-exercise soreness, is an internal sunscreen, which is why 70% of the astaxanthin is consumed in Hawaii, where it's virtually always sunny. Astaxanthin also is amazing for the brain. 7 published clinical studies show that it works. But these carotenoids, which are powerful, in fact, astaxanthin is 14 times more powerful than vitamin E, 53 times more powerful than vitamin C, and 64 times more powerful than beta-carotene. They work better with omega-3 fats, and omega-3 fats work better with these carotenoids. So what Oceans 3 does, it combines these 3 ingredients to form a product line. We've got 6 different formulas. It really is just hitting health food store shelves now, but we're very excited about the bringing this information to people, because I believe that omega-3s are wonderful, but these carotenoids add so much synergy to the equation that we feel like if you use omega-3s and you experience Oceans 3, you're going to be in for a real treat. And if you don't use omega-3s, you need to wake up and smell the hummus, as we like to say in the Middle East. But we think that this is a great representation of purity, potency, and most importantly, synergy.
Great. And there's also a great deal of effort that you folks have put into healthy hormones.
Well, this is really amazing because we've kind of looked at some of the conditions that omega-3 fats help, and we've tried to put together formulas that are underrepresented in the industry. And our Healthy Hormones formula is really for adult women of all ages, and it has all the omega-3s you need, over 1,000 milligrams of EPA and DHA, which is the recommended amount for maintenance in almost every study. But in addition, we have 3 botanicals, one of which is wild hops, which was discovered in Ireland, that women who were responsible for harvesting this particular type of hops, had very little problems with PMS and virtually no hot flashes and other what you would call menopausal symptoms, even though menopause isn't a disease. And this particular extract comes from France. It's the first time it's been brought to America, and it helps to alleviate symptoms associated with menopause, reduce frequency of hot flashes. But in addition, we've added 2 Ayurvedic Indian herbs, one of which is called ashwagandha, and one is Indian gooseberry or amla. And those added to the omega-3s, the astaxanthin, the fucoxanthin, and the hops, helps reduce stress and promotes emotional well-being, promotes a positive mind and mood. These are things as you're an adult female that you have issues with more and more as you get older. Helps promote restful sleep, which could help millions. Boosts energy and reduces fatigue. Promotes a calm and relaxed state of mind. And here's some of my favorites. You know, when you've got hormonal issues, you start to feel bad about yourself. Your skin gets dry. You start to get uncomfortable. You're stressed, and then what do? You eat. A study was done on this particular extract in the formula that shows that cortisol levels, which is a stress hormone, decreases, and DHEA, which is a pro-hormone that is associated with longevity, increases. So the Oceans 3 Healthy Hormones formula helps control stress-related appetite and carb cravings and inhibits stress-related overeating and weight gain. And as if that weren't enough, I know I'm babbling, but we wanted not only for people to be healthy on the inside, but the dry skin, the cracking, the lack of moisture due to hormonal changes can be, we believe, altered by healthy hormones, and it supports collagen biosynthesis, which is a vital factor in maintaining healthy-looking skin, protects the breakdown of collagen, improves elasticity and tone, and protects the skin against UV damage, which UV damage is a real issue. I believe vitamin D is totally deficient, so you need some sun, but the Ocean 3 formulations, including healthy hormones, provides an internal sunscreen so you can get the sunlight, get your vitamin D, especially in the north where your listeners are located. You need that vitamin D, but you don't need to get burned and cause oxidative stress. So we believe, in addition to those things I just mentioned, the heart, the body's anti-inflammatory response, mental clarity, triglycerides, cholesterol, C-reactive protein. I got to tell you, Dr. Mark, we really feel like these formulations can promote extraordinary health in people that use them.
Incredible. And you've also, folks need to know as well, you're quite an author. You've authored 19 books, one of them a New York Times bestseller. Is that right?
Yes.
And there's a series, the Maker's Diet series, that I think is very dear to your heart as well. You want to talk about that a little bit for us?
Well, years ago when I realized that the answer to our health was 3,000 years prior, I really combed the ancient texts, the Bible, studied history and science, and I realized that this message needed to get out. And so I started not just telling my story, but sharing it in books. And my first book was called Patient Heal Thyself, which really talked about how individuals can take responsibility for their own health. I went on to write a book on digestive health called Restoring Your Digestive Health. And then the Maker's Diet, which really struck a chord, not only told my story, but it gave a program based on history, but that can be a modern solution for people. And what was great about it, in the day of the Atkins diets and the South Beach diets and the blood type diets, we were able to not hide the organic, sustainable, local eating message, where other people, I guess their publisher said, look, you're going to get to reach the millions. You have to talk to them about things that are available everywhere. I wasn't interested in telling people, for example, the Atkins diet was great in the 70s, but when you say you can eat peanut butter cups with sucralose in them and that's low carb, or, it was, and pork rinds and all that nonsense. So we decided to say, look, raw dairy products can be great, especially when cultured. Sprouted bread, if you're going to eat grains, yeast-free, whole grains. How do you get nuts and seeds to be a little more digestible for people? So we decided to go right at it and say, look, we believe in this industry. We believe in health food stores. You don't need to be compromising this message. You need to give people the message as you believe it is in its healing form, and so we did. And so the Maker's Diet, timing, whatever you want to call it, it was a huge success. And since then, I've written a series of books actually called The Great Physician's Prescription, 15 books there, and then my latest book from last year is called Perfect Weight America. And actually, if people are interested that are listening, we developed an online wellness coaching tool that is free for an entire year. Other programs, Weight Watchers, South Beach, are $20 a month. But if any of your listeners today will go to perfectweightamerica.com, we developed a program where there's 256 unique individualized diets and fitness programs, and there's a journal so you can track your success. There's video clips. We even will text message you to make sure you're eating your broccoli and not supersizing anything. So that was last year's book, and I just recently finished another book called The Probiotic Diet, and hopefully that'll see the light of day here soon. But there's so much information that's needed to be disseminated, and I'm just excited to have my life back. And I just am sure the two of you realize this. Even though you're in this industry, when you're vacationing with family, when you're visiting friends, this topic of health is everywhere now. The problem is it's getting watered down. When Sprite or 7-Up says you can cherry pick your antioxidants, when you've got organics being sold at Bed Bath & Beyond, I mean, this is just, it's craziness. And so we need to understand that the things that we've been talking about for 20, 30 years, the basic foundations are the same. And my philosophy is this: I think health food stores do a wonderful job. If you can eat local from local farms, which I do quite a bit, even better, go to farmers markets. This economy should not affect your ability to eat healthy, because if you really focus and you give importance to this, because what's more important than your health? Because when your body dies, your spirit dies with it, or at least it's not here. So to me, that should be a bigger part of your budget. And it's just amazing what can happen if you focus on getting with like-minded people and following these principles right in your own backyard. And it's a great time to be in the industry. I know there's a lot of gloom, especially with what I heard Catherine saying about this new bill. And there was a bill recently that we helped fight on raw dairy, but it's just it's ridiculous. And there are some congressmen. I know Ron Paul's working on making it not illegal anymore to take raw milk over state lines.
He is one of my favorites. I love that guy.
It's crazy what's going on, but there's so many of us that I think are going to speak very loudly and make sure that our voices are heard. And I think the biggest problem is that these small organizations, our company is a relatively small company. Jaro, in the scheme of things, we're small family, businesses. We're not billion and $100 billion companies. And so what we do is we do the best job that we can getting great products out there. I'm talking about some of those products today, but a lot of the companies in this industry, once we're done formulating products and talking about them and getting them out to the marketplace, we're back in the trenches kind of living the life and sharing the message with people and fighting the good fight. And so I think that I would love everyone on the program to certainly check out our new Oceans 3 product line. And if you do want, anyone listening, if you want to go to Oceans and the number 3.com, oceans3.com, you'll learn about our 2 cod liver oil formulas, which I think not only taste good, they taste great. We've got a Beyond Omega-3, which is our base formula, the healthy hormones, which we talked about. We have a Better Brain formula, and then a Kids DHA chewable. But and also you get a $5 off coupon if you go online, available at any health food store. Just go to oceans3.com. But if there's anything you get from today, and I'm sure that every week on this program, don't wait another day. Don't wait till the doctor tells you have a disease. Don't wait till your annual checkup and you find out that your blood work's out of whack, or till you have chest pain, or till you're wrinkled and heavy around the middle. If you start taking care of your health today, it's going to take care of you when you're older. And for me, 19, I was going on 90, and now I have 3 wonderful children, a beautiful wife, and a lot of people that are partnering with me on this journey at Garden of Life. And if I don't take care of myself, it's not going to happen. My 5 minutes at the doctor once a year, which actually I don't go to most of the time, but that's not going to do it, folks. So to me, I always tell people that, people say, hey, is it ever too late to get started eating healthy, living well? What if I'm too fat, too thin? What if I'm too tall, too short, too old, too sick? Bottom line is, the only way you can start living healthy too late is if you start tomorrow. Today's the time, folks, and hopefully something that you're going to hear tonight will get you to get in the game, as I mentioned earlier. But this is a wonderful industry, a wonderful message, and you're fortunate to have this program on, which is new to me, but many of you listen every week, and I hope that you're able to not just, as I said, listen, but get actively involved, because one person who changes their life, gets over a disease, becomes enlightened, so to speak, they can transform an entire community. I've seen it happen so many times where people come up to me and say, Jordan, my friend gave me your book, and I used to have this condition, and now I'm better. My child was completely autistic or had Asperger's, whatever it was, or just, ADD, which is horrible for some people, ADHD. My husband had high cholesterol and was overweight, snored. These things can all be improved if you give the body what it needs and get rid of the things it doesn't. So it's kind of why we're all here.
Great advice, and that is advice from Jordan Rubin, founder of Garden of Life and best-selling author of 19 books. And Jordan, we're going to take a short little break. Stick around, would you?
I'll be here.
We'll be right back. Hi there, this is Mark Minkole, the Natural Health and Healing Show. I know that so many of you out there are passionate about the latest cutting-edge nutritional information, would like to go on to that next level. I'm proud to announce that our new natural health care offices in Cohasset are offering personalized nutritional consultations. At Santi Holistic Healing, you'll experience an informative, individualized nutritional consultation by one of my finest personally trained nutritional experts. Your consultant will test you for specific food allergies and supplements. Together, you will chart out a personalized, optimal nutritional roadmap that will detail your healthiest foods and nutritional supplements, even specific doses. If that's not enough, we also offer relaxing healing massage at Santi Holistic Healing. Whether it's nutritional consulting or healing massage that you're interested in, we at Santi Holistic Healing are prepared to give you the healing experience of a lifetime. Call us at 781-383-3393. That's 781-383-3393 for the healing experience of a lifetime.
Hi, this is Laura from Good Health. We're all about smart, simple nutrition. Let us help you keep your resolutions and achieve all your personal goals. Lose weight, feel better, and look your very best today. Thanks for listening to the Health and Healing Show. We hope to see you soon.
All right, of course, Good Health Natural Foods is our flagship sponsor in the Natural Health and Healing Show. And Good Health Natural Foods, of course, loaded with plenty of good advice. That's one of the nice things about Good Health Natural Foods. They're not just loaded with great products, but they're loaded with great information and people who care. So get down and pay a visit to Good Health Natural Foods. Jordan Rubin, I know you're familiar with Ralph Matura.
Yes, absolutely. And, there's nothing like having a local independent health food store. People often say, Jordan, do you know a doctor in, Manitoba, Canada, or what about, in Idaho Falls, Idaho? And you know what I say? I say, go to your local health food store. Not only are they going to give you great opportunities to buy foods and supplements and skincare, but they're going to be connected with local people in the area that can meet your needs no matter what type of specialty you want to see in terms of a physician. And it's just a great place to, browse through some books, hang out, and, I coined the term like a kid in a health food store. So I certainly love what this industry does, and that your local health food store needs to be supported because that's the only way they're going to survive.
Amen. And Ralph and Diane and all the folks down at Good Health Natural Foods certainly fit that bill, no question about it. And I wanted to ask you the question. Of course, there's an awful lot of folks these days who are talking about the cholesterol myth, and I know you've written a book on cholesterol. I'd like to hear what your feelings are about cholesterol and the statin issue out there, etc.
Well, I think that cholesterol is the best thing that ever happened to many pharmaceutical companies because it's extremely misunderstood. And, I've heard it said this way, and I think it's great. To blame cholesterol for arterial problems is kind of like blaming the firemen for the fire. And I have seen so many people that have high cholesterol levels due to genetics. And, it certainly could be lowered. There's several ways to lower cholesterol: fiber, certain essential fatty acids. Some people just need to drink more fluids to do it. But, now they're finally looking at the ratio of cholesterol, and many people that have a cholesterol of 280 have a wonderful ratio, and they're actually in really good shape because, the cholesterol is there to do what it's supposed to do, and no matter what they do, short of starving themselves, they're not going to get below that magic 200 number. So I believe saturated fats in their whole food form can be wonderful. I think that there's really no correlation in my mind to consuming fat or cholesterol-rich foods along with in raising cholesterol. I think the problem is that we eat too many processed foods. There's damaged fats in our diets. The age of artificial sweeteners is causing complete opposite effects of what we hope. So I think you certainly, if you have a bad ratio of cholesterol, I have a friend who has cholesterol of 210 and his ratio is a 5. Right. He has hardly any HDL cholesterol, and that's much more dangerous to me than someone with a 300 and a good ratio. So, I hope if people are listening, they're already, eating a lot of fiber in their diet. They're getting omega-3 fatty acids, which are wonderful. They're staying hydrated with water and vegetable juices and things of that nature. But, cholesterol is such a minute issue in terms of total cholesterol. I'd be much more concerned with triglycerides, C-reactive protein, which is an inflammatory marker, homocysteine. So I think that there is a great cholesterol myth out there, and it saddens me that people in my own family are on statin drugs just because their number is a certain level, and many people are, and doctors and health authors say take a statin drug for maintenance. I mean, I think it's almost as ridiculous as taking an aspirin for maintenance, but now I'm going to get myself in trouble. So, we just, I think we have really, I'm not saying, I think emergency medicine's great, and there's a time and a place for medicine, but the cost that we're paying for this is just tremendous in a number of ways. And so there's too many good things out there right under your nose to get tied up in a number that really has very weak scientific substantiation behind it.
Absolutely. The other thing I wanted to mention here real quickly is that you've developed a number of green food products, and I know you're very pH conscious, and you've certainly written books about heartburn, acid reflux, and there's certainly a growing number of folks that are becoming, unfortunately, hit with some of these acidosis issues. Heartburn, acid reflux is certainly top of that list. So I'd like you to talk a little bit about that, about pH and what your feelings are about pH and green foods, etc.
Well, I believe that green foods, especially green juices, are wonderful, and I myself drink green juices fresh, consistently, and it's not easy to do for some people, and because of that, we developed in 1998 a product called Perfect Food. It comes in a powder, it also comes in caplets, and it gives you a terrific or tremendous amount of greens, which the alkalizing effects, the positive effects on your pH, come from the minerals, the potassium and the magnesium that these greens are rich in, but they also have chlorophyll, which is the blood, if you will, of plants. They have special antioxidant enzymes, trace minerals, and they have certain proteins that act similar to animal proteins in the body due to their structure. They're very, what you'd want to call first-level foods, and I certainly think, hey, if you can drink juices on your own, whether it's fresh wheatgrass, whether it's celery, parsley, cilantro is wonderful, cucumber juice or puree is great, kale, I mean, cabbage juice is wonderful, but the point is you need greens in your life, and for people that do get enough greens, and those that don't, Perfect Food is a great option. It mixes great with juices. I prefer it with water. It's the greenest green food available, and we have been providing this product from local farms, and it's not kind of just grass or vegetables ground up. These are actually juiced and dried. They're low temperature dried, organic, and they've been a standby for us for 10 years. And so I think, the heartburn is a major issue, but when you start getting onto the medications, whether it's a proton pump inhibitor, some of the others, I really believe that one of the major reasons why our osteoporosis levels are so tremendously high is because we're taking these either over-the-counter or pharmaceutical medications to block acid, and we're destroying our ability to break down proteins to protect ourselves from microorganisms and to absorb and utilize calcium. And so we get enough calcium per person, believe it or not, but yet we have very high levels of osteoporosis and weak bones.
Right.
And there's just so many things that will happen to you if you don't get greens in your life. So I encourage you to do it. There's great green drinks at the health food store. You can juice your own, but Garden of Life's Perfect Food is a really awesome formula if you're interested in trying it, and I certainly recommend it.
You've also written a book on CFIDs and fibromyalgia, and of course so many folks are troubled by these mysterious new conditions. I'd like you to address that, if you would.
Well, I actually think that chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia can be reversed in almost every case. I think that they differ not necessarily in their physical cause, but one thing that I've noticed, I've seen this time and time again, for people that are dealing with chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia, you certainly need to get, I believe probiotics are a wonderful supplement to use. We have a product called Primal Defense, which is our first product, and that contains the organisms that help transform my health. Probiotics are wonderful. Cultured and fermented foods are great. I think cutting down on a lot of grains, especially processed foods, artificial sweeteners, things of that nature. But in my findings, particularly with fibromyalgia, which strikes women 9 to 1 versus men, I've never found someone with fibromyalgia that has not either gotten worse or the cause or timing of their illness started when they had a traumatic experience, something horrible in their life. It could have been, as simple as a major move or a loss of a job. And I say simple because some people will say death of a spouse, divorce, child that was ill. But I really believe in this case, and I'm not trying to be over-spiritual, but when people have these chronic syndromes, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, irritable bowel syndrome, I do believe the food is key. Get off all the junk. Get into a healing regimen. Our Maker's Diet program, as well as the great physician's prescription for chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia, are wonderful. But you've got to scan back through your life, figure out who it is you haven't forgiven. I mean, I see women that say, I can't forgive myself because I allowed my child to be vaccinated and now he or she has autism. And what I say to them is, look, number one, this is an opportunity for you to see the miraculous work of the body heal itself in your child. But number two, you go around storing this, you're not going to be able to take care of your child, because if you stuff and deal with this unforgiveness and bitterness, I mean, people are afraid of cancer cells. I'd be much more afraid of dealing with what some people deal with on an emotional level. And life can be hard. It stinks sometimes. But I'm telling you, if you've got chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia, I'm not trying to judge you, but get real with yourself and understand that if you're harboring bitterness or resentment, unforgiveness, you're not hurting anyone other than yourself. In fact, someone told me harboring unforgiveness that turns to bitterness is like drinking poison and expecting it to kill the other person. So, and it's a surprising answer. Most people would tell you malic acid, and I would say take apple cider vinegar and alkalize the body. But folks, healing is not just about physical. You've got to get it all together. And I just think that there's answers for so many people, and they're a lot more simple than you think. The only problem is it takes time to reverse a condition. It doesn't happen overnight. You didn't get sick overnight, but fibromyalgia is now officially a disease because there's a drug for it. For a long time, it was something that was considered in people's head, or yuppie flu, they used to call it, which is very insulting. But millions of people have this, and it can be reversed, just like type 2 diabetes in almost every case, just like asthma. And so I really hope that we can get this message out to people, because you do not have to stay sick unless you want to, and that's the truth, no matter what your doctor tells you.
Absolutely true. Great advice. You're listening to Jordan Rubin, and he is the founder of Garden of Life, author of 19 books, New York Times bestseller, remarkable information, and great series to the Great Physicians series and the Maker's Diet series. Jordan, you've done some really amazing work, and it's been great to have you on here.
Well, I greatly appreciate it. And if anyone wants, information on diet change, if you go to perfectweightamerica.com, you can get your own individualized electronic health coach for free. And then you can also see more information about us at gardenoflife.com. And once again, if you're interested in those omega-3s that we've just launched called Oceans 3, go to oceans3.com. Mark, thanks for having me.
Jordan, it's been great having you on. I'd love to get you back in.
Love to do it.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
We're going to have a short little break. We'll be right back.
Don't miss the 9th Annual International Herb Symposium, celebrating the healing power of plants, June 19th through the 21st at Wheaton College in Norton, Mass. It's a symposium to touch your heart and soul, as well as your mind and spirit. This gathering is for all people enraptured by the healing essence of herbs. Learn from an extraordinary gathering of herbal teachers, elders, and healers from around the world. There will be over 90 workshops for all levels of interest and experience, and over 50 teachers representing 12 countries. To register or for more information, call 802-479-9825. That's 802-479-9825. Or visit internationalherbsymposium.com. The 9th Annual International Herb Symposium, June 19th through the 21st at Wheaton College.
Hi, this is Laura from Good Health. Did you know that organic foods offer up to 1,000% more vitamins and minerals than non-organic foods? It's true. So this year, make every dollar count. Shop at Good Health Natural Foods in Quincy and Hanover. See us online at goodhealthnaturalfood.com. Remember, for certified organic produce, natural groceries, vitamins, bodybuilding, herbs, homeopathics, and natural cosmetics, it's Good Health Natural. See you soon.
Alrighty. welcome back in, and that was great having Jordan Rubin on from Garden of Life, and he's got some really wonderful, wonderful observations to share. You know, Catherine, first things first, I think, the idea of fish oils, who couldn't benefit from fish oils these days?
Well, it's one of the most simple things that you can do that is going to have the most dramatic impact, and for the whole family.
You're absolutely right. And, during the seminar that we did yesterday, one woman actually raised her hand and said, my family doctor said that there's absolutely no substantiation that omega-3 fish oils are good for depression or state of mind or mood. And I said, well, that's just inaccurate.
It's absolutely inaccurate. It's what
how can he say there's no study? He could say he didn't observe any studies, or he read them blindfolded or something. But you can't give somebody that misinformation.
No, there's actually very targeted clinical studies that have been done on, as Jordan was saying, EPA and DHA levels that are over 1,000 milligrams. So it's very. The protocol actually is really clinically targeted.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. And also, the issue of cholesterol, I think it's so important. We're just beginning to now find more information that does indeed suggest that cholesterol has been demonized.
Yeah, and actually, the pharmaceutical companies are starting to demonize it themselves because, the statins are going by the wayside and pharmaceuticals are coming out. So, it's important for all of us to kind of keep our wits about us and
to really think in terms of elevating the HDL.
Well, and that is the truth. And the AMA just lowered cholesterol points maybe 5 years ago. So what was healthy before is now not healthy.
Right.
And for a lot of folks out there, cholesterol levels that are under 200 can actually be downright dangerous. And you and I have seen clinical studies that show low cholesterol can actually lead to
increase the risk of cancer.
Yeah.
So, your immune system is on the other end of this equation, that we've got your heart on one side. We obviously don't want elevated lipids. Nobody's suggesting that. But a lot of the research indicates that on the other end, you've got an immune system to take into consideration, and especially when you consider the fact that cholesterol really is an insulator for cells, a waterproofer, a protector of cells, defending it and shielding it from all kinds of different DNA mutation attacks and viruses, etc. So we don't want to drop these cholesterols so ridiculously low that we jeopardize your immune system.
Absolutely.
So the other issue, of course, that I think he spoke very eloquently on was the heartburn, acid reflux issue, and the idea of maintaining enough greens in your life and keeping that chlorophyll up. Chlorophyll is so vital to this whole process of hemoglobin and stabilizing your body's functions.
Remember that bumper sticker? Eat more kale. It's as simple as that. It's just simple.
It is very simple, isn't it?
It's very simple.
And, of course, the CFIDS fibromyalgia thing, I think that's an important issue for so many folks all of a sudden who find themselves confronted with chronic fatigue viruses and with, obviously, fibromyalgia issues, etc.
Well, it is really closely connected with the work that you do as well, and the mind-body connection.
Yep.
And the manifestation and prevention of health and disease to the outer body, and without being able to recognize the importance of the subconscious spiritual being and the subconscious body.
Well, and as we said many, many times yesterday in our seminar, everything moves from the unconscious mind to the brain to the body.
Yeah.
So what ends up creating plus and minus effects in the human body originated in thought form. And thoughts basically make the brain react, and the brain makes the body react. So what you think about becomes your physical reality.
Absolutely.
Very important point. And I think the other point I really feel that was great that he made was the idea that so many folks with chronic fatigue and so many folks with fibromyalgia are folks who really had very severe traumas, shocks, emotional issues, stresses. And I find repeatedly that people who have fibromyalgia issues are those folks that are really dealing with profound stress, acute stress issues, and really kind of burn out their adrenal glands. And their adrenal glands, of course, as I always like to say, are the electrical system for the body.
Right.
They keep the body's electricity pumping and moving. Well, what do we have to pump? We certainly have to pump the lymph system, because the lymph system is the body's garbage filtration system. And if the adrenals are not being burned out on stress, then there's plenty of electricity that they have to render regarding the emptying of the garbage in the body.
Yeah.
And if not, then it just deposits in vital tissues, and fibromyalgia is the end result. So stress plays a direct role.
It absolutely does, and fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, really targets the skeletal muscle. And when you think about it, the heart is a muscle.
You bet.
So there's muscle has memory, and your heart is definitely one of them.
And I thank you so much again for the Sinatra Solution book. It's become one of my favorite books. I love the book.
I know, he's fantastic.
It's a great book, and he is fantastic. And I do recommend his book to just about everybody out there who's interested in this issue of health. And really and truly, the Sinatra Solution is a breakthrough book, I think.
It has turned so many people around, and
presenting the heart as a muscle.
Yeah, and, for Sinatra himself, he's a cardiologist, and he really, stepped outside of his own boundary lines.
He
and
sure
did. Has received some criticism from his associates and comrades.
Maybe even a couple noogies.
Maybe,
I'm sure he has taken some ostracizing hits, no doubt about it.
Yeah, so, just having the utmost respect for somebody
Absolutely.
to step outside and just start saying no. I have
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. He's really summarized the heart disease issue so beautifully in that book, and how to manage it really at a cutting edge level with new supplements.
Yeah.
And really, as you point out, treating the heart as a muscle.
It's a muscle.
And if the heart muscle is getting the proper energy, and if it's moving through the paces of nutrition in such a way that adenosine triphosphate and energy is efficiently managed, that heart's going to be a happy heart.
Yeah.
And we have supplements, folks, that can make a huge, huge difference. And in the Sinatra Solution, it's very well detailed. So all good issues brought up by Jordan Rubin, again, founder of Garden of Life, author of 19 books, and it was great to have him on. It went by awfully fast.
Yeah, and he's extremely passionate.
He is passionate.
Over the course of, the years of their company, they've grown tremendously, and I've seen Jordan have this uncanny ability to be able to bring people out of, the conventional world and kind of like transform customers and introduce them to our industry. And, they have done a lot of that, and it's because of the outreach that he does, and he is so passionate, so it just really translates for people. And, that's what this industry is about. People don't really get into this industry unless they are passionate.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, everybody out there in the listening audience, we're very fortunate to have people like Catherine Foley and Jordan Rubin amongst us, because you folks are really great difference makers and culture shapers, and turning the picture of good health around. So we thank you for that. And wow, look what time it is! Holy cow, that happens awfully fast. And with the help of hey, I'm old school. I can say holy cow.
I love it.
And, of course, we got to make sure that you're aware of what's coming up next. Dr. Julie Johnson and Beth will be on. And, of course, Adam Ing helped out this evening by making sure that we've got this podcast up and running again. If folks want to watch this program or catch up with the website, any of the other information like the program segment that I do on New England Cable News, we're doing a segment this week on supplements for mood. So a lot of folks out there need some mood boosting. You might want to pay attention to that. But you can pick all that up at maxhealing.com. That's www.maxhealing.com. And Catherine Foley from Jar Formulas, thank you so much. All right, everybody out there, until next Sunday at 8 o'clock, this is Mark Mincola reminding you all, please be wise, be aware, be well. Make it a healthy week. Good night.